Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. And we're up to Mahler. Yes, Mahler. This is going to be a fairly long one, but not as crazy as you might think. First of all, because I have tons of Mahler upstairs, and because Mahler has very conveniently been boxed up by people who've done symphony cycles, but also because Mahler just didn't write that much music. So there's kind of a limit to, how big your Mahler collection can be. I know you could, go and get every single recording that has ever existed, and I have a lot of them, but I didn't save a lot of them either because there's a lot of lousy Mahler, and I just don't see any point in hanging on to it, if it's really not very interesting. But I have quite a bit here. So you ready? There we go. Oh my goodness, what fun this is going to be. This is an intriguing way to start. When this came out, this was 1975. It looks like, or 83, or somewhere around there. These two things were coupled, and it was very, very interesting. On Koch, or Koch, if you want to call it that, Totenfire, which this was the first recording of the original first movement of the Second Symphony. The revised version in the Second Symphony is everywhere more interesting. Everything that Mahler did improved it. It's a bit longer. He cut some bits which really needed to be cut and reorchestrated it and made it far more interesting. And it just goes to show revisions are a good thing most of the time. There are exceptions, but this is not one, especially when you're dealing with Mahler. So it's with the Berlin Radio Symphony under Jesus Lopez Cobos. And then we have the Mahler's own suite of orchestral pieces by Bach. What he did was he took the Bach orchestral suites and he made his own. And he scored it for a largish orchestra with a modified piano that's supposed to sound like a harpsichord. That you can use a harpsichord. In this case, they use a harpsichord, and it also has an organ. And it has the Badinerie thing with flute from the B minor suite, whichever one it is. But the others come from the other suites. And it's fun. It should be played. It's a lot of fun. I mean, nowadays, of course, it's just, it's politically incorrect because period instrument people do them the way Bach wrote them. But, this is so much fun. And Mahler had a big success with it. He played it all over the place. And it really, I understand why. It was all people heard of Bach's orchestral music back in the day, and it's so much fun. And that's also with the Berlin Radio Symphony Orchestra under Peter Ruzicka. Wonderful disc of Mahler rarities. Back in the day when we didn't know there were Mahler rarities. There were the symphonies and the songs, but there are some other things, but the orchestrations like the Schumann symphonies and the other stuff that he did, the Schubert and Beethoven string quartets. And, there were a couple other interesting Mahler things. The Opera di Dry Pintos, which is wonderful, and which is mostly Mahler, actually, and sketches by Weber, but they're all elaborated by Mahler. And that deserves to be heard, too. So, yeah, this was fun. And we're off. We're off to the races. Symphony number 1, the Boston Symphony with Ozawa, coupled with the Rückert Lieder with Fischer Dieskau and Karl Böhm in the Berlin Phil. This recording of Mahler 1 is fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. It includes Blumina. It includes that excerpted movement that Mahler later took out. Another one of those little bits of Mahler that people don't know exists. And so it's 5 movements, not 4. You can listen to it just as well without Blumina, and it's just a beautiful, rich, juicy performance. It's really better than his remake for Philips. I love this disc. I think it's one of the great Mahler ones. I really do. It's on DG. This was DG Budgie Strange label, Eloquence, but European Eloquence, not Australian Eloquence. It's really, really terrific. Mahler 10 with Shai, the Berlin Radio Symphony Orchestra. For a while, this was the reference in Mahler 10s. It is a glorious Mahler 10, especially the first movement Adagio, especially the climax of the first movement Adagio, which is just this huge, rich, organ-like shriek of expressionist horror. Oh my God, it's marvelous. Beautiful, beautiful performance. And I still love it. I really do. It's on Decca. And they get it there. They got it all onto one disc. It's 78 minutes long. First class performance. Then what's this thing? Oh, Songs with Christa Ludwig. This was a collection of all of her Mahler Lieder on EMI. So you've got the Songs of a Wayfarer and the Kindertoten Lieder and 5 mixed up Lieder. That's from Das Knaben Wunderhorn and I think some Rückert Lieder stuff. I'll tell you what they are. Yes. Ich bin der Welt abhanden gekommen. Okay, so that's Rückert. Mitternacht and Das irdische Leben, which is Das Knaben Wunderhorn. Ich atme einen Lindenduft in wo die schönen Trompeten blasen from Das Knaben Wunderhorn. It's Crystal Ludwig. It's amazing. You've got Adrian Bolt in the Songs of a Wayfarer. Andre van der Noot. Oh, we need an Andre van der Noot box. We really do. With the Kindertoten Lieder. And Klemperer with the 5 other Lieder, which were done as actually, they were extras. They were fillers for some of his smaller symphony recordings. But yes, wonderful, wonderful stuff. I mean, Crystal Ludwig is incomparable, as we all know. Oh, what's this? Mahler 1 and Till Eulenspiegel's Lustige Streiche by Strauss with the Czech fill and Carol Ancherl. Well, we all have to have as much Carol Ancherl as we can possibly get our paws on, don't we? Lovely performances. We don't have to say more. It's stunning playing, and they're well recorded. They're stereo recordings. Thomas Hampson. Okay, we've got piano versions of, let's see, the Songs of a Wayfarer, and 5 and early stuff. The early Lieder. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. These are songs that for voice and piano that a lot of you won't know. I used to play the piano parts. I learned them, actually, because I wanted to do something by Mahler, and that was basically all I could do. And then we've got Mahler orchestrated by Berio with the Philharmonia under Berio, his 11 early songs, which is wonderful to have. I mean, Thomas Hampson, dubbed himself a Mahler specialist and a Lieder specialist and something of a scholar. Was he really? Well, maybe not as much as he thought he was, but he was a very fine singer and he was in good voice here. It was before his voice, dried out and became parchment. So there's that. That was on Teldec. Wow. See, there's some cool stuff here. Kirsten Flagstad, doing Mahler's Kindertoten Lieder and Songs of a Wayfarer with Adrian Bolt. Oh, the great Mahlerian. Well, he actually did some Mahler. And we'll get to more of it, I'm sure. And then Wagner's Wesendonck Lieder and bits of Lohengrin, Parsifal, and Die Walküre with the Vienna Phil under Bolt in the Mahler and Knappertsbusch in the Wagner. Well worth having. Of course, Flagstad fans have had this forever, but, I love it. Mahler 7 with Kubelik, Bavarian Radio Symphony. This is his live Mahler cycle on Audita. It's not complete. They didn't have everything, but they had most. They had most things. And these performances are very, very different from his Deutsche Grammophon recordings. Slower, often, and maybe a little bit more intense, and really, really, it's a fine Mahler cycle for as much of it exists. His really slow Mahler 7th is with the New York Phil, which is a very strange performance, really, really strange. But these are fun. This is from 1976. It's recorded live. The playing isn't always perfect, but it's Kubelik doing Mahler. So this was exciting as these were coming out. I enjoyed them very much. Oh, fabulous Mahler 10. This is with Michael Gielen and the SWR Symphony Orchestra, Baden-Baden und Freiburg, 77 minutes. It's a minute shorter than Scheide's, and it's just as good. It's the Cook version, which is really important, because that's the one that everyone should be doing, if you do it at all, and it's great. It's absolutely great. It hits a little bit more expressionistically, as you might expect, and angular than Scheide's, but wow, we're spoiled for choice when it comes to Mahler 10s. They're many, many good recordings. This at the time was on Hensler, then it was SWR, because they were licensed to Hensler, and then they broke up, and SWR reclaimed all their recordings. It was all silliness. Mahler Lieder with Bernstein. Okay, what's this? Bernstein at the piano and Dietrich Fischer-Dieskau singing. 4 Rückert Lieder, Lieder und Gesänge. These are his early songs again, and Songs of a Wayfarer, as part of the endless Bernstein Mahler stuff. And Fischer-Dieskau, very fine voice. We know the drill, right? So that's that pile. That's the opening pile. And some really interesting things in there, aren't there? Things that you might not have expected and stuff that hasn't been around for a while, and it's good to revisit it. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.